Welcome back, everyone. We are going to do some Amplify live coding with AWS community today. Just kind of to recap for everyone that might have joined last time, what we're trying to accomplish here is to bring others in from the community, AWS and Amplify especially, but probably beyond that too. We'll be looking for different topics as we go through each week on something to build out. I don't know how far we'll take it, but we'll end up with a public GitHub repo that you can take and continue from where we left off. So I have one person with me today. Matt's on the line, so I actually get some audio visual feedback. Thanks for joining, Matt.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to be here.
So I'm going to try out Visual Studio Code Share, and whoever joins on StreamYard, I'll throw this out to. So let me throw, do you see that in the private chat? Or is that not there?
I do not see any messages in there yet.
Okay, let me throw this. Let me know if you can see that now.
Yep.
Okay. I couldn't remember if it shows after someone's already joined.
Okay.
So yeah, do you have any questions, Matt, just right off the start as far as kind of how this is going to work for live code sharing?
This is my first time. My assumption is that it's going to boot up an app, a remote app, but probably not. So okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, if you open up VS Code, there's an extension. I think you might need to install an extension. Let me jump over. Let me share my screen real quick.
All right. Yeah, I installed Live Share.
Okay. I noticed they have Live Share audio. I've never tried that, but I think it'd really mess us up on StreamYard. So so I do have the Live Share running. I shared the link with you. Hopefully we're okay there. And I'll go look for you to join up. Just let me know if you have a problem.
Yeah, so it says sign in with VS Live Share. Okay, oh, that's what I did wrong.
And I think you can go through GitHub or Microsoft account to get into it.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, perfect. There we go.
Sweet. Again, anyone on the stream that's watching this and you want to join up and do some coding with us, just let me know and I'll let you into the StreamYard link as we go along. Ah, there's Matt. Look at that. Sweet. Oh. Left joined. I don't know. Maybe you're there.
It says it says loading file tree.
Sweet.
I feel like I'm caught in a loop here though. Okay, authorize.
So as you're kind of getting going there, I'm gonna recap. I'll take us both off screen and go full screen with the code here. Last time we were kind of hanging out, we stood up our first initial part of the Amplify app. So we do have our Amplify folder, and what we created last time was a little back end. Maybe. There we go. Just basic. Oh, cool. It shows your cursor. I like that. So it shows us kind of this basic example that they have listed out there. And where we left off last time was we were still kind of in a non-TypeScript environment. I did take and flip us over to a TypeScript environment just because I'm most comfortable with that. Hopefully I don't lose too many people on this. It just provides more strict typing for us as we go along. Now, where we left off was in this kind of just very, very simple. We were clicking a button, it was creating a blog, and it was showing all these different blog things with the results coming out here, which is pretty cool. Do you have familiarity with how that works, Matt?
With which part?
Have you used Next.js yet?
I think I've played around with it, but I honestly cannot remember. I can't remember if it was that or Gatsby, the last server side language I played with.
No big deal. We'll keep walking through it.
Okay.
So for those of you who haven't, essentially what Next.js has are pages that you can set up. Each page has a route. So for instance, we're working on this index route. It's the very base page that you can run off of. And so the only thing we left off with was a button that said add blog, which was pretty awesome and boring. Like I said, I did end up putting TypeScript in there. So we do have a new tsconfig file. And as we kind of work through this, we're going to continue to build this out. And just for folks out there who are wondering, like, why does the RA have all this stuff? As we kind of go through this example, it's a real live app that I'm building for codingcat.dev with my partner Brittany. She has the design that we're working through for CodingCat, and it's almost us just kind of walking through how to build this site, but we're gonna brand it for our own little Amplify live share here as we keep going. So yeah, after we did the tsconfig, it next understood that we now have a TypeScript based next setup. So now we're fully ready to go with TypeScript. So I flipped those files over from .js to .tsx files, and you'll notice it'll start to show some errors because we're not correctly like checking and verifying certain things. Occasionally we'll probably just want to get lazy and get through something, so we'll throw any in there, or any declaration in there, and just kind of power through as we go. I do want to mention I did put this up on a Git repo, so if I do git remote -v, if you're hanging out late at night and we're done with the live coding, but you're like, man, Alex just really messed something up, go ahead and hit that repo out there. It's under my personal account. Maybe I'll move that over to CodingCat, where it probably makes more sense, under Amplify Live. So currently HMP Amplify Live. Next time we see this, I will probably move this over to CodingCat so it's a little more approachable. All right. So the next thing that we want to do, and I was kind of working on this because I was afraid it would take me a lot longer than it actually did. We're going to want to walk through installing Tailwind. So I brought up the Tailwind Next.js configuration. And the way to do this in your project, so we already have our Next.js project done. All you have to do is npm install, just like this. We are on Next.js 10, so it's very simple. I will actually rerun this command just so you kind of see what happens. So I'll do -d because we shouldn't need any of this as it produces it. And the -d, for folks who don't know, that's going to put it in our dev only packages. So here's our dependencies. Here's our dev dependencies. This is what we just added. So the next step, as we get through that, the configuration files as we come in here. So npx, Tailwind CSS, and init, that's going to generate this Tailwind config and post CSS config. So here's our Tailwind config and our post CSS config, and those are all just default. There's not a lot that you have to do there. The one thing that we do add, and for us, TSX becomes important because we're using TSX files. If you're using JSX or even MDX files and you don't want the CSS, the extra CSS out there, it will purge it out of those files. So there's a great deal of kind of context that you can go through and just read through this. For us, the only real thing left is to make sure that we're importing all of the Tailwind components that we'll need. So I did that work as well to get us going a little quicker. So I threw that in our global.css. And then the last step is to make sure we're importing that within our _app.js. So just for those folks, again, for Next.js, _app is the entire application, and it loads once. And then there's also a special document, and I hope we get there because of the SEO challenges that we might run into, or that we might want in there. There's also a _document per document that comes out, and that is to allow for like us to put header things in for like Facebook graph cards and Twitter cards and things like that. Also, there's a ton of stuff. Anything you can think of in your index head file will end up in that _document file. What do you think, Matt? That was a lot to say really quickly.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, excited?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's dig in.
Let's do some coding then. So the fun part is Matt can actually either take over a whole file and type it out, and so we're gonna experiment with this today, and I hope in future sessions maybe we can break some of this up and we can be all coding together. So the first thing that I'm going to go after, just kind of sticking in the Next.js here, I'm going to create a new folder called components. Not there though, at the base. So now that I've got that components file sitting there, actually, I think I was going to do a layout file first. Yeah, let's change that up. I forgot we don't have anything going on yet. Let's do this. Let's do a layout folder, and we'll create a new component called layout.tsx. And then in here, what we're going to do is just this layout file is actually going to end up taking in all of the children that you pass to it. So it's kind of going to be like our main wrapper area, if that makes sense. So yeah, let's just start defining this thing. I'm kind of looking over some of my notes, make sure I'm not too far off here. So we could start with layout. I know for a fact that we're gonna actually need to, and actually we could just do const, not const. We could just do export default function layout instead of doing all this. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I assume when we say layout, like if we were to like pull up your website side by side, right, it would essentially be like the header, right, and then maybe the footer if the footer is static across the pages, correct?
Yeah. So I think what we're gonna do is just kind of break it down to those sections for sure. So we'll put like a header, a footer, and then the main content will stick into. We'll allow the children to pass through. So in React as a our background's really weird. I didn't even notice that. Let's throw this on there. Cool. So yeah, and then once we have that kind of background set up, we should be good to go. Hey, looks like we have another person joining. Let's see if George is able to chat with us. Hey, George, can you hear us okay? Maybe George is just watching. George, just hit us up in the private chat. Oh, hello from Rome. Oh, sweet. Rome.
Nice.
What time is it in Rome? It must be late in Rome, right? Like 7, 8 o'clock? 6 p.m. Okay, sweet. Cool. George, just ping me if you want to come on and chat. Looks like Abdullah is here. Hello, how are you doing?
Hi, hello, how are you?
I'll throw out the live share. So we're just getting going, and we're kind of creating a layout right now for our Tailwind Next.js app. So
that's great.
If anyone wants to come out and join on there, just let me know. Okay, continue forward. So yeah, where we're at, Matt, I was kind of explaining, yeah, this layout is just going to be meant for the general, header, footer type style setup. So the first thing that we're going to want to pass through here is the children. So let's go ahead and put children up here and see if this works. So TypeScript's complaining about children. For now, I think what I'm going to do, just to keep children simple, we'll just make them an any. Okay. Children can be a tricky one to pass back and forth correctly. So as you were talking about, Matt, what we could do if we just do whatever, if we want to do a div, right? We could say ID equals head or header. And then we're going to have main anyone's better at HTML, which most people are, if there's a better way to describe these, let me know. We will probably break these out into their own React components once we get going, though. So it's already complaining, but because if you haven't written React before, you need to have one single component. So a nice cheater way to do that is to put this empty guy. And so now we are just passing that part back. And it looks like my prettier is not working on save. So might have to update that file later on to make this a little easier. So at this point, we have our layout. We're passing in children, and we should probably say, let's display those children. So now I'll jump back over to our index, and instead of just having like this generic layout that's set up, what we can do is kind of blow this whole thing away, or even take this part and wrap this whole thing with our layout. So let's go ahead and do that. I will bring up kind of one of those tricks that we added. I don't know if it's a trick, but it's a TS config thing. So because we have this at layout defined in our TS config, and it's pointed to the wrong place right now. Didn't even notice that. Let's take these off for now. Cool. So this is actually pointed at our layout folder right here. And so we'll say, okay, that layout folder, anything in it, we're going to create our own path called at layout. So now when we're in here and we need to create or import this layout, what we can do is come up here and say @/layout. That thing's being a bugger. And then say layout. So now we have this defined. It's complaining about children, probably because I'm doing it wrong. Any React experts out there? What am I looking for? I have that as a prop. Is that incorrect?
It's not a child. It sounds like a TS thing.
It feels like, let's see here. Is that what it's complaining about? Layout cannot be used as a JSX component. It's return type void. That is a TS thing.
I think you need to return.
Thank you. Thank you. See, this is sweet. I love when someone else can update that. Cool. Now it's happy. All right, let's see what we ended up with. Hopefully the same page as we had before. Boom. All right. Failed to compile. Let me restart the server because I have a feeling it's complaining about that.
So, quick question for the live share. If we wanted to boot this up locally, do we just run the same script then? Like it's not going to automatically boot it up for us, I assume, right?
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with that. I've only done the live share one time. I think if you have this this repo on your side, there is a way to pipe through like my local host. Let me know if that works or not. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like if I do yarn dev, which I don't even know if I can get into the terminal here.
Cool. Yeah, while you're checking on that, let's take a look. So we have this add blog here. which we'll probably end up getting rid of, but I just want to start to show that Tailwind is working. So on our button, we're going to put class name. And for this class name, what I can do is say, I want a background of gray 500. Let's see if that works. Is it G-R-E-Y or G-R-A-Y? This is the question. Yep. I always mess that up. Could we not all just agree on the spelling of gray? Okay, our button still HTML, has good syntax for a button. It's now 500. So some of the other cool things we can do with Tailwind right away, we can say, well, I want a padding in there, and I want this thing to be rounded. And immediately, boom, like it's starting to look like a button already. So at least our Tailwind is working, which is cool. We can say text white. That is not text white, Alex. What is text? So Tailwind's got amazing documentation, by the way. I think Adam does most of the work on this. If you come out here, you can actually hit, like, if you're on Apple, it's Command K. I think it's Control K on Windows. I'm not sure. So we can look up what. Oh, that's cursor. How about just color? Text color. So here's text dash, and then we have all of our different colors. So, oh, I misspelled text. That's why. So there is our text. So the other cool parts about Tailwind, if we're just, continue to mess around with this button a little bit, what we can do is say, okay, that's cool that way, but we also want this hover attribute. And on hover, we want it to go to background gray 200. And hover for text, we want it to go, and this is probably terrible, so let's do text dash gray 900, and then on hover we'll do text gray, I don't know, 700. That's probably terrible on the accessibility. That's how that works.
Nice. So
that's the slick part about Tailwind. Like, you can already have all of this utility CSS based stuff going on. So let's try to clean up this layout a little bit, and maybe each of us can take a part and start to like go through it. And if you want to share something, just let me know. And I think I can watch you type too. So my thought is, let's take out. Well, we can leave the button, but in layout, let's do this. Let's create a couple more components in here. And let's just do a header and a footer. And then we'll import those guys. Any volunteers who wants to do what? And I'll help out.
I'll take the header.
Sweet.
There is by the way, there is an option for, I had it, I saw the request pop up on yours. There is a way to request access to the shared terminal, but I'm still not sure. It says shared servers on here too, but I'm not sure how to, I would assume that would be the one that would use, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe we could mess with that.
I'm just one for one.
Getting weird when you guys move my cursor.
We're just one for one doing what's already on codingcat.dev, right?
If we want to, or we could take it somewhere else and do something more fun for like the AWS community. How's that sound?
Oh, okay.
Just do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Cool.
that's the reason I put it in this layout, is because, I've been working on it for CodingCat and figured we could try it out that way. Yeah, so you guys are doing header and footer, right? Abdullah, are you working on footer?
Yeah, I started on it.
Sweet.
So how can I see the result of what I'm building here with live share? I joined a bit late.
Yeah, no worries. Are you able to open up VS Code?
Yeah, I'm coding with you at the moment.
Oh yeah, you're in here.
But I was wondering, how can I see the result of what I made?
Yes. So that's kind of what we were talking about. Maybe we need to dive into that a little more because I thought you could see localhost 3000, but I wonder if you have to run localhost like a npm run on your side too. Let's check that out a minute.
All right, I'll try that. Good point, though.
Ooh, what was the next one? Is this a browser preview? Well, this is a little meta. I think we have another Alex joining. Hello, Alex. This is Alex. Alex, just let me know if you want to come on the live piece of the video. All right, did we figure this out? Abdullah, did you have any luck on your side actually spinning that up or no?
No, running npm run dev throws some error.
There's got to be a way.
No such file package.json, but because I can't find, the terminal can't find the folder I'm in, and the terminal that you have, I cannot edit it because it's a share one. I haven't done this before, actually. The live share on.
I've only done it one time. It's pretty wild. Let's see here.
We do it for interviews at my place, at my workplace, but it hasn't been my turn to even try it. So.
Yeah, I love getting going with this. Hopefully, we can get better at it as we continue doing these live shares each week. So let's see here. There is this shared terminal. Oh, join via the browser. So let me jump back over here and see about the shared terminal piece. So I actually don't have this running in that terminal. Let me kill this.
What does the share server do?
Good question. Shared server. Maybe.
The guest will then be able to access the server you shared on that port from their own local machine on the exact same port. For example, if you shared a web server running on port 3000, then the guest can access the same running web server on their own machine at localhost 3000.
Let's try that. No, maybe. Oh, that didn't work out very well. 3000. Yeah, try that. See what that does. Oop, I should probably actually start it.
Yes, I think it's working. No, but now it's saying localhost 52108.
Try that if you hit localhost 3000 now.
Okay, there we go.
Does it actually show anything?
It when I click on the shared servers, it tries to boot it up. Although
yeah, it's building it from my side as well.
Oh yeah, it's coming through on 3000.
Yeah, I see the button.
That's awesome.
Pretty wild. Love it.
Cool.
I'm a footer. We're making progress. Sweet. All right, so let's do some things with this layout while you guys are working on
that. Do you have a design for the footer, or?
I really don't. I mean, just kind of off the cuff a little bit here. All
right.
If you guys feel uncomfortable with what we're doing, what we could do is I do have all the code for this, and we could lay it out just like we have it.
Okay.
And that way we could get kind of a fun feeling for it. But, you know, it doesn't have to be code and get. Maybe we could do Amplify community or AWS community, I should say, and kind of throw out different logos instead.
That sounds like fun.
Cool. So I'm going to wrap this main with some grid stuff. So for those kind of online and watching, if you haven't done Tailwind, this is all baked into Tailwind as their utility, except for this one. This could get a little interesting. That's our own little flavor in there. So we actually are using a package so that we can do dark and light mode on here, and that's why you'll see like primary working for ours. I don't know that we need to take it to that level. So I'll just do, and maybe we could do that a different day, but for now I'll just do background gray 50. And actually that's not gonna work. So cool. So now I will show let Abdullah drive for a little bit, kind of check out what he's doing. So he's got 1, 2. This would be so fun if we get like 20 people doing this at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm figuring out Tailwind CSS. I've never used it before, so
yeah. So actually, to that point, like let's break down some parts that you're looking at and working on.
Normally, I use styled components. I use normal CSS, not Tailwind.
Yeah, I figured it's a fun thing to get into.
It is all the rage these days.
So just taking a look here, let's take a look at why this button grew to the size of giantness. So on main, I ended up throwing this into a grid, and I love on Chrome, you can see the grid lines and what happens now. So if we wanted like this add blog button, you can actually directly out here in the browser, you can do justify. I always get this backwards. Is it items, justify, center? Yeah, I'm going to mess that up. I'm going to have to look it up. I'm terrible about remembering flex versus grid out here.
I still haven't gotten into grid.
Grid's amazing if
I know.
you use it correctly.
I just haven't like taken the time to dig in yet because I'm still so much faster with Flexbox.
Yep, I was that way until about, I don't know, 3 months ago, I would say. And you can see how much it slowed me down because I keep trying like to remember. Yeah, so let's change, where did it go? This one. So the interesting thing to me is you guys are seeing this update, like this 1, 2, 3 type of deal on your side too, right? Like I don't even have to refresh. You're just getting this view.
Yeah, we are.
That's so cool. Yeah, so justify items center, it's going to take that grid. And again, Tailwind documentation, this is why I think it's so great for devs that are just getting started. I think it's really important that you don't rely on the fact that justify items center is a thing. Like you should always know, oh, the CSS for that is really justify dash items center. So I always try to like bring people back to that. Like we could just be writing the CSS. Sounds like Abdullah, you would normally write it that way. See if we have any comments out on the Twitch or YouTubes. I don't see any. Cool.
Do you mind if I add an asset to this folder?
Not at all.
All right.
Let's just keep hacking away.
Okay, let's get that out of there. We'll do the assets. Folder. Image. I'm going to drop the Amplify logo in there.
Let's see what else. Okay. Should we do some Amplify-ish stuff while you're doing that? Maybe.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. Good stuff.
So So I think I'm going to take this whole like blog create nonsense away because the blog should just be one thing. So let me break open AWS Console. So this is kind of where we left off last time. I did want to show off how to deploy this today too. So as you guys are working, I'm going to run a build. Hopefully it will work correctly at the same time. I don't know. I know it replaces the .next folder, so this might mess us up a little bit. So if I look at our npm run, we have start, which we're using right now for next start. I'm going to run. Yeah, this is totally going to mess you guys up. There's a way to output to a different folder. Let me check. I wonder if I can just do... Sure, let's see what this does. Config.js. Have I not created that yet? I guess not. Nope. Okay. Ooh, we're getting an error on Amplify logo from assets.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
I can pull that out. I'm not sure why. This is a problem. Is I think I uploaded on mine, but I'm not sure it's going to upload the image through the share.
That's
so
in
I can just
static folder somewhere.
Is it
called Amplify logo.png?
Yeah, it's in the assets folder.
I can see the file, but it can't open it.
Oh, in here. Did you create this assets folder?
Yeah.
I think this has to go here to be able to read it. I'm pretty sure.
Perfect.
And then it depends. So if you want to do an import, I guess we could do that a different way. But this creates a public file at that point.
Okay.
So you can just reference it. Like if you have an image, let's say in the href, you can just reference /asset/image/ here instead of talking that much. Let me just copy it. So I think you can just go href. I think that will work. Oops, it's not href, is it? Is it URL? Source, right? Source.
SRC, is it source or SRC?
And been using too many Cloudinary. I used the next image with this. Maybe we could show that off too and see how it works. Let's see, is that actually showing up? Broken link. Let me try that path real quick. Oh, there's no public. That's probably why. I think it definitely has a logo. I just don't know if it's a good one.
Here's another thing we can do.
What's that thing look like? Oh, I don't even see it.
I literally just like ripped it off an image search.
Huh. Here, let me try. I do have a SVG of it. Maybe we should just throw that in there. Here, we'll take that one. Sweet. Actually, I'm just going to pull that whole thing out because we shouldn't need it. We'll just stick the direct SVG in here. Ooh, not that. That thing is gross.
I could always, we could always.
Oh, I know why. So there's this cool tool that I use all the time now, HTML to JSX. It's from transform.tools. If you throw your SVG in there, it'll give you a nice JSX one back.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So now you should be sitting a little better. Yeah, sweet. Now let me try building this thing one time. So we will cover it at some point, just for those kind of watching us code away here. We'll end up throwing serverless stuff on here so that Next.js can perform or run like it should be with static props and server-side rendering and stuff like that.
Hey, there it is.
These are probably all going to be my fault. So I will rip out all of this stuff for now as we kind of rebuild this thing. Do the standard hello world. Billa's like knocking it out. Look at all these links he's got already. Sweet. Abdullah, what time is it where you're at?
It's 1:43 a.m.
I thought it was pretty late. That's super late.
Yeah, I'm supposed to go to sleep soon.
Thanks for joining us, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was interesting. I like your tutorials. I like your videos. So
oh,
nice to share. It's a nice experience as well to live share right at 1 a.m.
Yeah, for sure. So just FYI, we are looking for the best time for people. So if there's a better time, let me know. I'm kind of maybe doing like Monday, Tuesday evening for us, which might be more towards morning for you. I got to play with it some more.
For me, this is actually quite good because I tend to be a night owl myself.
Okay. Very good.
Plus, I'm used to it. A lot of conferences happen this time in the US time. And
unfortunately for you, yes. So yeah, as you'll kind of note here, some of the things that we have going on, because we're using like this package, AWS Amplify API, our initial JS load, our first load JS is ginormous. So we'll take a deep dive and look how we can correct some of that too. But for now, I think we got a build out. So now comes another cool part for everybody. Amplify. So if you haven't seen Amplify, let me make this a little bigger. It's probably a little tough for everybody. So here's the Amplify CLI. You know what? I'm just going to break this off into another terminal here. Let's do that again. So here's all the different commands. The only one I think that we did last time was to add an API. This category add always seems so backwards to me. So I think they still allow if I want to do add instead and then hosting. Sweet. So what I want to do is this managed hosting with Amplify. For now, we'll do manual. We might switch this over if we kind of continue building out this fun little blog for AWS community. But for now, I'll do manual. That's interesting to me because I feel like it doesn't know where my build folder is. So let's see here. Team provider. That's got backend. We might have to adjust that. Let's see what it does. Oh, I bet there was. Yeah, that's fine. Boy, this really got messed up. I wonder if we can just do... Let's check status. Okay. I have a feeling that our hosting is going to be off. It's not going to use our build folder. We'll see what happens. Have you guys worked with Amplify before or no?
Yeah, not in production though.
Yeah, I've never, well, not never. I usually use the CI/CD flow pipeline for it, so I haven't pushed directly from my machine.
I tried to do that 2 days ago. It never worked. Because
Really?
I was doing git connect, and it was saying do connect your GitHub, and then it would open the console for me to connect the GitHub. But it would never link back to my terminal, and I was wondering why is that happening. So I just finished from the console.
Yeah, so once you connect to GitHub, it only works on commits in GitHub. Then, so like if, let's say if we were to go out here, once you link this up to GitHub, it only works when you commit to that branch.
Oh, you want to do Amplify publish from your local console?
Yeah, I do, yep. But I think we could switch it over to GitHub very easily. All right, sweet. We got an error already.
No, that's me. Let me get that out. Little S. My keys started pulling up off of my MacBook Pro. And now, like, my most used keys I have fall off all the time. And so I need to get it replaced. I have a keyboard, but it's been frustrating. Like my F key and my command key, which are clearly I must abuse because they're both falling off versus none of the other keys.
What model is your MacBook?
It's the 2000. It's like the late 2016 one.
Okay.
Yeah.
The notorious keyboard issues.
Exactly. And it took me a good year or two, well, 2 years, I guess, before it finally started happening. But I was like, dang, this is kind of killing my flow here.
I finally gave up on well, for now, until I have to go probably back to non-remote work. But I bought a Mac Mini M1. It's been a freaking dream.
Yeah.
It's such an amazing machine for such a low price.
Oh, been eyeing it up. It's worth it then, huh? You don't have any issues doing any of your day-to-day?
The only issue I have is with my Coding Cat stuff on Google Drive because I used FileStream. And so that became an issue because they don't have it written for the Apple hardware yet.
Okay.
So they claim like it's a #1 issue, but we'll see when it gets done.
Have you done any React Native or any emulator simulator with like Android or iOS yet?
I haven't yet. No.
Yeah, that's what I'm most worried about.
But I usually don't write mobile, so it hasn't been high on my list. Oh, let's see. I think still don't know where I define the build folder. So this is not good. I'm going to have to break into the old documentation. Full stack. Oop. Yeah, this. I wonder if it already knows its build. You're
trying to deploy a next project to build with build, yeah, and it's complaining in the build process, or what?
The build actually all went out fine,
but
it's just getting this access denied issue right now.
Okay, is this actually served by CloudFront or?
Yeah, out the other side it is. So they create all the domains and everything for you underneath the hood.
I think if it's the first time, upload, you have to wait for a bit because the permissions haven't, the DNS propagation hasn't finished.
Really? Okay.
Every time I deploy a CloudFront website, yeah, I have to wait like 10 minutes, 20 minutes at least.
Cool. That's good to know. Yeah, so I think the build folder is actually the correct one we're aiming for. I was hoping to see that in the Amplify stuff, but I don't know why I don't. Amplify build config? Oh, that's just a git ignore. Amplify hosting. So hosting, Amplify hosting. It's just the branch name. Oh, I'm so happy this is in here. Yeah, it's really odd. I wonder if I am not seeing a folder. Sometimes. Yeah, this folder. This is what I'm looking for. I don't know why I can't see that sometimes. Config level, project, environment. Here we go. Distribution directory. See, I think this is still off. This .next. It's going to have uncompiled code. So let's open that bad dog up.
It shouldn't be a .out.
Yeah,
I think I fixed a similar issue just three days ago. It's deploying a Next.js by one of the Nader debits.
Yeah, normally I would just leave it as .next and it would correctly go out. But because you guys are working while I was doing it, I switched it over to this build folder. But I think Amplify is still looking at .next. So I think if we update this, it should be okay. And then honestly, I don't even think we need a build command anymore. I don't know if I take this out, if it'll not run it then. Guess we'll find out.
I think you, to have the .out, do you have like next build and next export?
I do have the next build that I'm just running manually. So like npm run build, and that goes to this build folder.
Okay.
I don't know if that's for static sites or not though. I'm usually running off like a, what's the term in next?
Yeah,
serve static.
Send you the link if I can. Can I send it in the chat?
Cool. Yeah, is it like Nader's or Natter's last YouTube video or whatever?
No, from the documentation actually.
Oh, okay.
They had here also export.
Cool. I'm gonna see if I do another publish if this will work or not.
And
interesting.
If you just scroll down to the Cli, and then you can see the build they have there, next build and next export. Yeah, just right here.
Cool. Thank you. So let me change this back then so it actually runs the build. Actually, this needs to stay, I think, because of distribution. I don't know that's picking up the fact like we actually ran something, so let's try this again and see what it does. Yeah, it's got no change. Oh, but that's just the hosting information, so maybe it will still build and go.
Yeah, I think that's the backend configuration, but the build should run.
Cool.
You can. Does it show in the console, like the deployment part?
Sorry, what do you mean by that?
Like the build, deploying.
I think it is doing like that right here.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's where it's generating. Yeah, there we go. Let's see. Copying public in quotes. That's a little weird. Oh, I see. So maybe we don't even need this build folder. So this actually looks like we should be pointing the out folder correctly, but we'll check this out and see if it's still broken. Where'd we end up here? Any luck? Nope. Okay, so I think maybe I need to change two things. So I will change out.
Did you point the build folder to .out? I mean to out, not .out.
Yep, that's exactly where I was just heading. Sorry, this is such a quiet one for everyone watching. Usually we have a little more done.
It's called mob programming.
That's right. I love it. One of these days we're gonna get enough people on here. We'll just like have an entire thing done. So yeah, make sure you're reaching out. Abdullah, are you part of the AWS community builders?
Yeah.
I thought so. I couldn't remember.
Reached out to me there.
Yeah, there's so many people that have been pinging me back and forth. Definitely reply back in our front end channel. Just kind of like topics that you're interested in, and we'll get them on the schedule and get rolling. Oops, did I actually change anything? Oh yeah, okay, it's set to out. Let's try the build one more time. It's been so long since I just did a static site. I've forgotten how to do all this. I want to get into the serverless deployment next time, or one of these times.
Yeah, way easier. It's just one run command.
Yeah, we do all of ours with Vercel, so it just takes care of it all. It's kind of nice.
But I wonder what would cost more. Would Vercel cost more, or I mean, for now because they use Lambda Edge, and that can scale expensively.
I would say Vercel's definitely cheaper right now. Their pricing might change because you can run off a community plan or whatever for free. So I think you're probably getting the best situation there still.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you get Lambda Edge and you're free.
Hey. So it looks like, unless our changes, yeah, I was going to say, it looks like something is up with the Tailwind configuration still, because it stripped out too much stuff. So something I can play with before next time and fill everybody in. Unfortunately, this is super fun, but unfortunately, we're up on the hour that I kind of set out to hit. You guys, like I said, if you have any thoughts, if anyone watching or watching this later has any topics they'd love to go through, feel free to ping me at alex@codingcat.dev or reach out to anyone in the AWS Community Builder Program. We'll get those topics on. This isn't just for AWS Community Builders. This is for external people to come on too. That's why you see the scrolling StreamYard link at the bottom there. Thanks so much, Matt and Abdullah. I really appreciate you both coming on. I hope to see you next time.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex.
Take care. Have fun.
Take care.
Bye. Bye.